Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video, and it's all about Christmas books that I have. And some of them were really good. One just really didn't appeal to me. So let's just get right into it. So the first book I'm going to show you is the book that I really didn't like. It's called A Killer's Christmas in Wales. It's a Penny Brannigan mystery. It's by Elizabeth J. Duncan. That's what it looks like. And it's about this woman who she's starting this sort of like spa nail salon type of place, and this person dies, and it's up to her and her boyfriend to figure out who did it before things get too out of hand, before it's Christmas. Now, the one thing I didn't like about this book was just because of the fact that it took halfway through the book to get to what happened. So, like, it basically started out like a normal book, and then it just added in, it was like maybe it felt like an afterthought, just adding in, like, hey, I'm doing a mystery book, I have to put this in the book. And I just didn't like it for that because I'm like, you could have just took everything. I mean, I know you had to introduce the characters, but usually in mystery books, you like introduce all the characters in the first like 4 or 5 chapters. And so I really was like, really, you couldn't have just like some of the stuff in the book, like you could have just like took out so that way you'd have enough room to fit the mystery, because it was just like, it felt like an afterthought in the book. And I know it was supposed to be about Christmas, but still, like, it was just like an afterthought, basically. So this book is a 2-in-1 book. These two books in this novel, I guess, stories in this book, center around Christmas. And this one, I think, out of all of them that I have, is the best one so far. And, well, in general. And this one is called Kisses in the Snow. It's by Debbie Macomber. This is what it looks like. And the first book is called The Christmas Basket. The Christmas Basket. And this story was about these two women who despise each other because their children, a long time ago when they were just teenagers, wanted to elope. And it turns out that the one never showed up to marry the other one. So they both blame each other. The mothers both blame each other about what really happened. And then Noelle, the daughter, she comes back and knows that Thomas, but they call him Thom, which is a weird nickname for Thomas. Like, I would just assume you would just nickname him Tom, not Thom. But anyway, what happens is their mothers have to work together on this Christmas basket charity thing for fundraiser. No, this is Christmas baskets for the Salvation Army for Christmas to give to the needy families in the area. And they learn to work together, kind of, and try to get to the fact that their kids are seeing each other again after all these years, and they finally figure out why the one didn't show up to where they were supposed to elope at. The second story in this book is called Let It Snow. Excuse me. It's about this woman who ends up stranded at the airport. And here there's only one rental car left, and she has to share it with this business type man who is like the stereotypical like businessman. Like, all he cares about is business. He has to get to a meeting before Christmas Eve. He has like a business woman fiance who, like, they want to make sure they have enough money before they get married, and make sure like they like advance in their careers more before they have children, get married, and all this stuff. And they end up at her father's house for Christmas because he just couldn't make it to his meeting. And it's just about them trying to work out being together in him in a strange place, and him not like in his fancy house or hotel or whatever. And this was a really good book. I really liked the stories in this book, because sometimes when I read Debbie Macomber like short stories, they're not really that exciting. They're not really like, sometimes they leave on like cliffhangers, which I don't really like. So this one also had 2 stories in it. The one was about Christmas and the other one wasn't, which is kind of weird because you would think by the title that they would both have Christmas in them. So this one is Christmas at White Pines. It's by Sherryl Woods. And Sherryl Woods, she writes the I was going to say Chesapeake Shores best. Yeah, Chesapeake Shores books. And this is what it looks like. The first story, like I said, was Christmas, and it's called A Christmas Blessing. And this woman who was widowed, her brother's, her husband, her brothers come from this like ranch family, and something happened to one of the brothers that was her husband, and they all blame, everybody but Jessie blames this man, Luke, her brother-in-law. And she ends up at her brother-in-law's ranch where she gives birth in his house, and they're stranded at his ranch because of this big snowstorm. And towards the end of the book, she tries to get the family to see that it wasn't his fault that this happened to her husband and his brother. And the next book is called A Natural Born Daddy. And the first book takes place on Christmas Day, so she names her baby Noel, Jessie. And the second book is called Natural Born Daddy. It picks up not soon after, but I guess like a little bit after, a couple months after the first book, and it's about Luke's brother Jordan and how he was supposed to marry this woman and she ended up marrying somebody else, and here he decides, hey, why don't I just marry my best friend? Like, just because, like, not because of love or anything like that, but because he really wanted just to be married. And she has a daughter, and her one concern, what was her name? Kelly, is concerned because he really isn't not a father figure, but like a child. I don't know the word for it. Like, he doesn't really know what to do with children, I guess you could say. Like, when a baby cries, he just passes it back. He doesn't have like that paternal instinct. And she was married to a horrible man who cheated on her and stuff, so she really doesn't want to marry him for those reasons. And the one thing she wants him to say, in order for them to get married or even propose marriage, is that she wants him to say that he loves her, and he has a hard time doing that. And there's a little plot twist in the book with one of Jordan's brothers where he catches his girlfriend with somebody else and he decides to run away from home. And then at the end of the book, they find her there at this restaurant that Jordan and Kelly are at, and it's a big plot twist in that, which I would love to read the next book in that, because that would be like a really good like story. So this book, I only read the first 2 chapters of this book. I'm still working on it, but I wanted to finish this. I want to get this book review video done for the holidays. So this is called Once Upon a Dickens Christmas. It's by Michelle Griep. It's 3 charming Christmas tales set in Victorian England. This is what it looks like. So there's 3 stories in this book: 12 Days at Blinkley Manor, A Tale of Two Hearts, and The Old Lace Shop. I just read the first 2 so far. So the 12 Days at Brinkley Manor was a really good book. It's kind of, I remember watching like a show about this where these people are in this manor or something like that, and they have to stay there for either the night or like for however long to get stuff that was sent to them. So these couple people, I forget how many there were, each get sent a letter saying they have to spend 12 days at Blinkley Manor that started on Christmas Eve. And if they stay the whole 12 days, they get whatever prize was in their letter. And Clara and Ben were lovers, and they were supposed to get married, but they didn't because something happened to Ben, which brings him to the manor. And then Ben has to make a choice at the end on if he stays at the castle. If he stays at the manor, he gets his letter, his reward, because Clara had to leave to take care of her aunt. And if he leaves the manor, he goes back to jail, sort of. And the next book is called A Tale of Two Hearts, and this one was about two people who pretend to be together so that he can inherit his uncle's stuff when he dies. And the last book, I didn't get to it, but it's called The Old Lace Shop, and it's about how this woman named Bella decides to go into this business with a business partner, and they end up being together. Charles Dickens comes into play, where in The Tale of Two Hearts, the man's uncle knew Charles Dickens and is friends with him. And in the first book, The 12 Days at Bleakley Manor, the woman's aunt knows him, and that's how they set up this whole thing, because he wanted characters. He wanted a hero and a heroine for his book, and he loved her aunt told him their story and loved it and stuff like that, and he set up this whole thing at this manor and stuff like that. Now the next book I forgot to bring over. So this book, I read the last book in it a while ago, and it was it's a Cedar Cove book. It's a Cedar Cove book, and it's two stories in one. The one is Christmas Comes to Cedar Cove, and the other one, a Cedar Cove Christmas, and the other one was 1225 Christmas Tree Lane. I read that book. That was the last book that ended the whole Cedar Cove series. This one, the first book, I never read because it said it was supposed to be like an online book, and I never wanted to get this book like in the store, because I already read the first book and I never got a chance to get the ebook version of it. So I found this book at a book sale, so I got it so I could read this one. And it said when you look up the list for like Cedar Cove books and more, it says that you don't really need this book for the series, but you kind of do, because of what, I guess, like obviously like they tell you, like towards the beginning of the book, they tell you like all the stuff that happened in the first book. But yeah, so this book was about Mary Jo Wise. It's supposed to be sort of like the nativity story, kind of, where Mary Jo Wise, and she has three brothers, the three wise men, who they took care of her all of her life because their parents died. So her older brother took care of her. Here she's pregnant with this man's kid who doesn't have a good reputation, and they want to hunt him down. And she's about to have a baby, so she goes to Cedar Cove to track him down. She can't find him, and all this stuff. And finally, at the end, when it's Christmas, she has her baby, and it's a nice story. I really like it, and it's a really good, like, interpretation of the nativity, kind of like a modern day interpretation of it, I guess. It was a really good book. I really liked it. And so yeah, and I really liked it because like it was like, oh, the three wise men repair shop or whatever it was, and then they have a live nativity, so it's all the animals that were in the live nativity are in this woman's barn that helps her out because she can't find anywhere to go to stay and stuff like that. It was a really good book. I really liked it. So that was all of my Christmas books for this book review video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.